What can the West ever hope to achieve that would turn the tide on the wave of thousands of people that are willing to give their lives? So obviously promulgating the true teachings. How can that be done?
Well, I think that's part of what has to happen within the body of Islam. I don't think, no matter who our president is, I don't think that's going to come from the White House. So, but I do think that a more even-handed approach to international affairs will go a long way. I think the average citizen has a role to play in this.
Tell me more about that.
Because we're a democracy. And so if our policies toward any country are uneven and wrong, we have the ultimate vote as to whom we put into office. And so in a democracy, we share part of that responsibility. That, you know, and this happens around the world. A lot of times, countries perceive the United States in a bifurcated manner. One, here's the U.S. policy, and two, there's the U.S. and the people, U.S. people. Well, we don't like the policy of the United States, and we call, I'm saying we being inclusive in the statement, that the United States is called the Great Satan, etc. But the same people will say, well, what do you think about the American people? They say, well, you know, we like the American people. They're okay people. They're nice people, but the policy is wrong. You know, so that kind of perception is a good thing at this point. That and I'm concerned that I don't know how much longer we have the luxury of being perceived in that manner, because at some point that perception will change and say that will say your policy is wrong towards us and cruel towards us, and essentially, since you are in a democracy, you're responsible for that because you voted for these people, and so the policy is wrong. You're in the U.S. is, quote, the Great Satan, and you're all the little ones. And so I don't want that, you know, deterioration to occur. I would rather see us become more sophisticated in learning to deal with people based upon principle, that our policies as a country should be based upon principles and not upon expediencies and not upon our own narrow self-interests. I think that will go a long way in addressing some of the issues here.
After September 11th, President Bush said that the reason that we were attacked is because they hate our freedom, that we're a free society, and they hate us for the freedoms that we have. Why is it that Islamic extremists hate us?
I think that they hate what we do. I don't think they hate us. I think, you know, again, if you ask people, do you hate the United States, as they will differentiate between the policies of the United States and the people of the United States. So I don't think they hate us. I think that was an unfortunate perception that he had, and I just beg to differ with him on that point. I don't think they hate us like that. I think any person who feels mistreated and wronged will at some point become reactionary toward the source of that wrong. I think that's exactly what we feel. We're dealing with at this point. And I truly believe that we still have a great opportunity to start to address those issues if we as a nation begin to live up to the principles that we espouse. If we live up to those principles, if we begin to treat people based upon justice and fairness and not upon what, again, our own narrow self-interests are in some great geopolitical chess game, then I think we will come out the victors in this.
Do you believe that mainstream Islam is willing and capable to do its part to, in a sense, rein in and re-educate these extremists?
I think, yes, yes, and yes. And I think there are movements within the body of Islam now that teach true Islam. I know many people who are Muslims who have very moderate attitudes. In fact, Islam is considered the middle road. This is a teaching of Islam that shouldn't be too far to the left or too far to the right. Islam is the middle road. And so there's a great task that remains to be done in the Muslim society and itself, in the Muslim community worldwide itself, in terms of addressing this. I think there are a lot of people who have awakened to this, and I think what has allowed this to happen has been that many Muslims that have migrated or immigrated to this country have done so in fleeing those societies where the mullahs had control, and they were coming to this country as a safe haven. Well, what essentially that did was not present any resistance to those mullahs in those countries to say, no, what you're teaching is wrong, and here is a correct teaching of Islam. So with them having fled to go to Europe or wherever they've gone, the United States, kind of gave the mullahs free rein. And after years of having that free rein, we see the result. Now I think many Muslims of different stripes who have a moderate bent are now looking at what they can do to go back into those societies to help. And I think there is still a lot that we can do.